Hey guys, what's going on? This is Josh over at MightyMeep.com. You probably already knew that, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Which, if you are watching this video and you don't know who I am, that's cool, I guess. That's kind of weird maybe a little bit, but no worries. I'm here to talk about a few things today. Talk about the website. So I assume that you've been to the website before, MightyMeep.com. It's a website that I run about board games, tabletop games, all sorts. So just some things that have come up that I wanted to address. I figured this is the easiest way to do that. And also answer some questions that people have sent my way. So just going to do a little bit of a hangout here, chat with you guys. Hopefully clear up some stuff about Mighty Meep, its future, the current state of things, and so forth. So yeah, I've got my beer. It's awful, by the way. Oh God, I hate Dos Equis. I don't know why I'm drinking that. I've got my dog, which you can see down here. So let's jump right into this. I wanted to start things off by addressing something that has been going on for the last couple of weeks in the gaming world. It's a pretty awful, pretty shitty thing that has been going on, specifically the mistreatment of women in gaming. Now, this mostly pertains to video games. We haven't really seen that in tabletop games much, but it's something that I feel needs to be addressed. As someone who, has been involved, in more mainstream journalism before and is kind of doing it more on the side now, and as someone that wants to be more involved in the gaming industry and has been making, efforts to do so, I felt it was important to, I guess, let people know my stance and what the, Mighty Meep stance on this type of stuff. And it's better to address that now and not let that come into question or have, concerns about that in the future. So what I want to say is that the whole situation that's been going on, and I don't want to repeat it. I'm not here to talk about it all again in detail. If you don't know about it, you can go over to sites like Polygon.com. Have been done a really great job of covering all the stuff that's been going on, but specifically, everything with Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn. It's just, I do not condone, or I do not, how do I say this? The actions of the people, the men involved with the abuse and the threats and everything that have been targeting these women is fucking awful. It is not something that I do not ever want, my website to, be any part of, our community. It's really great. It's very small, but it's a very solid group of people, and I really appreciate that. And so I just want to say that is absolutely something that we will never, ever, 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 ever tolerate. That kind of behavior towards not only women, but people in general, but specifically in this day and age towards women, sending death threats and other really awful, hateful things is not something that I will tolerate one bit. And so part of what Mighty Meep is to me is that it is a place that's inclusive and kind of like a friendly, safe place for all gamers, all types of people that enjoy games, specifically tabletop games, but even those that are new to it and that are trying to dip their toes into board games and stuff. I'm just establishing that now front and clear that Mighty Meep is a safe, clean place. Well, I occasionally swear, so maybe not clean, but it is a place that is inclusive and does not, discriminate and does not attack people based on, orientation or, gender or anything like that. So just going to establish that now, and if that rubs people the wrong way, that's fine. Go find somewhere else to, hang out, and I don't want anything to do with you if that's the case. So, it's just something that I feel is important to me. I feel very strongly about this. It's definitely caused a lack of sleep lately. Kind of staying on top of all this stuff, and it's been really awful. The stuff that has been going on with these women and some of the other folks, like some of the journalists that, with the Zoe thing, that some of the journalists involved, that their names have been dragged through the mud. It just the accusations that have been going around have been ridiculous, and it's just something that I do not condone or want our website. Let's say that right now. That will not be tolerated. Period. The end. That's really all I want to say about that. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, establishing a code of ethics for Mighty Meep. That's something I haven't really thought about before, but I guess that is something that I will say now. So getting that kind of clear, just want to have all that in the open, so there's no question about that in the future, should anything like that ever happen. The nice thing about board games is that it has always been a little bit more of older gamers and more mature gamers, and even families. Video games have been, there's some really good essays out there, but video games have been going through this because they've been largely targeted towards teenagers and young boys, adolescent boys, for many years. That's just unfortunate. That's just how marketing was, especially during the 90s and the early aughts. And so a lot of those, it's just the transition of that age group and that demographic coming into a more welcoming and more inclusive and bigger field, I guess. So it's just been hard. It's been a difficult transition for those people, and the way they've handled it. A lot of them have handled it. It's been very deplorable. I haven't seen that with board games. Granted, that industry is still very, very, very small, but there's definitely similarities to the way that video games started off very, very small, and it's turned into this mega industry. I don't know if board games will ever get to that point, but it might, and you may see some similar clashing and friction happen as it continues to grow, as we see more and more like female game designers and people involved in the industry. I hope and I feel confident that our specific niche of gaming is more mature and would be able to handle it and transition very smoothly and not have any of those types of issues. But you never know. So, but anyway. So that's essentially where I fall on all that stuff. The other thing I wanted to talk about, kind of transitioning away from that, is I wanted to bring up some changes that are going to be happening with Mighty Meep. When I first launched the website back in January, I had imagined it to be... Well, I had some big plans for it. Granted, not all of them have come to pass. Some of them have, and some of it's been really great. Yeah. Ugh, still gross. It's been good. Our growth has been fantastic. I continue to be impressed by that. But when I had originally launched the site, I wanted it to be this big new thing. Originally, from the beginning, I wanted to have a wiki. I wanted to have a lot of different aspects and layers to the site that some have made it in, like the podcast more recently. Others have never made it, really due to time and money. This is a pet project of mine. This is a side thing that I do during my free time. I work a 40-hour-a-week job that thankfully does give me some time during the day to work on the website, and I write occasionally, but I'm trying to cram as much as I can, during my spare moments at home in the evenings and stuff, and it's been really difficult. So that's kind of part of what some of these changes are about. I essentially am going to be paring things back a bit with the website. At the moment, I've been doing a pretty good job of, pushing and getting things updated about 2 to 3 times a day. Which averages about 12 or so updates every week, which is impressive. Like I surprise myself being able to do that. But a lot of things are coming up on the horizon that I'm finding myself less and less time to do that. We've got a big convention here in October called ZapCon here in Fresno. It's going to be really exciting. It's our first time, and I'm in charge of all the role-playing games for that convention, so I'm organizing all that, getting that schedule put together, getting all those tables kind of mustered up and filled. So that's really stressful, and that's coming up in just a couple of months. Extra Life is the following weekend after that, and I'm working on something for that for Mighty Meep. I'm trying to do some more stuff locally. We've got like a movie club thing that we're maybe looking at doing here at one of our local public houses downtown in Fresno, which is exciting. I'm really excited about that. I'm getting married in March of next year. Weddings, we're not doing the traditional wedding by any stretch of the imagination, but it's very time consuming. a lot of planning and thought has to go into that. So just lots on my mind, and lots that have taken up the time that I would normally be using to write and, pushing stuff for the website. So you're going to notice that content on Mighty Meep is going to significantly cut back from the, 12 updates a week, 10 to 12 updates a week that you're seeing now. I would say you're probably going to see closer to maybe 2 to 4 updates a week, which is, I know, significant, but unfortunately, that's just kind of what I have time for right now. I've tried having outside people help me with it, but it's been very difficult considering that it's a side project and not anything that has a budget. I can't afford to pay people for their time, so it's something that hasn't ever worked out. Maybe someday that would be really nice. I've looked into some crowdfunding ideas, but I just don't feel comfortable with it right now. It's mostly just the time thing. Like, if the money would help be able to upgrade and purchase some new equipment, be able to help pay for a lot of the hosting fees and other service fees. Like, I pay for several different software licenses and stuff, every month or every quarter or whatnot. So that stuff, it's not terribly expensive, but it certainly adds up for something that's just a side project. So that stuff, it would be nice if that paid for itself, and I haven't gotten to that point yet where, just ads alone can handle it. But I feel that until more time becomes available, I feel it's not really fair to do that, because I don't want to risk, slipping back and not being able to make good on any promises that I make. So unfortunately, as it is, that's just kind of how things are going to be. You'll see less updates, but I've planned to make them more significant. I feel like a lot of the content that I've been putting up on the site lately has just been rushed, like trying to get stuff out there to keep the site updated regularly, and I haven't really been particularly proud of everything. Like, I feel like none of it's really awful, but yet I feel like I know that I am better than what I am doing right now. So, and as someone that I would like to make more of a presence in, writing about games and stuff, I feel like it is more important to have quality work rather than quantity of work. So I'm hoping that this will give me more time to actually focus on writing some bigger and better pieces and doing some more stuff. I'd like to do more with video, so I just haven't had time to do that. So I'm hoping maybe this will free up some more time to shoot video and do some stuff. I really enjoy that, so maybe we'll do more of that. In addition to the reduced updates on the site, you're going to see some changes with the Mighty Meepcast as well. It's going to... So at the moment, it's hard to tell. I'm hoping to keep it on its weekly schedule like it is. I really like... It's going strong. The numbers have surprised me. I haven't really grown. We launched in July. And the July to August numbers have pretty much been a slight improvement. So good out the gate, but hasn't really gone up from there. So I'd like to keep it weekly just to keep momentum going, and I feel like I'm getting good response and good feedback from the podcast. But yeah, it's just, again, time and stress and whatnot of maintaining it regularly. Like, there's editing a podcast takes time, and getting it, not only editing it, but then having to mix it, and I have to upload it, I have to get everything into place for the feed. It's not a super long process, but it is, a good chunk of my day just doing that. So I'm going to try something a little different. We're going to keep the podcast around. You may see it slip into more of a bi-weekly schedule, but I'm hoping not. We'll just kind of see, and that depends on availability, I guess, for not only me, but other people. But I'm going to try a little format change, and I hope you guys like it. And if not, I would love to hear some feedback on it and see what you guys like better. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to focus more on kind of what we did with the last episode of the podcast. If you listen to episode 9, I interviewed some people that worked at Gen Con as volunteers, just kind of a little fun story, stories from Gen Con type of thing. I'd like to do more interviews with people. I think that's really fun, and that was kind of what I had imagined actually when I first launched the website. I've always imagined Mighty Meep in particular to be able to highlight a lot of the people within the gaming industry, because I feel like that's something that's not particularly well represented in a lot of areas. So I feel like I want to kind of refocus and reshift the podcast to maybe doing more of that. Not only like friends, occasionally just bring on friends like Joe and John will still be around occasionally. I still plan on incorporating them every once in a while to help maybe talk about big new game that's come out, or any particular big news that's happened. But I also want to be able to interview game designers, retailers, even there's other people that are involved in the industry in various capacities. I feel like it'd be really fun to hear their stories and to hear things that they're actively participating in and what they're involved with. And I just feel like that's something that there's quite a few podcasts out there that are talking about the current games they're playing and all that stuff. And like I said, we've had good feedback. People seem to have been enjoying the podcast, but I just want to do something a little different. So you'll still hear us talk about some games, but I think it's going to be in a much more focused format. So we'll see. I hope you guys like it. Please, the only way I'll know if you guys like it is, I guess, if the whole thing crashes and burns, which is one way. But by sending me your feedback, that helps a lot. So that helps me gauge how people are enjoying things and if they like the direction things are going. So yeah, that's pretty much most of the updates. I had mentioned Extra Life earlier, and I just want to mention there'll be some stuff on the website. I'll post an update about it for people. But if you're listening to this or watching this now, what we're doing for Extra Life here locally, we haven't finalized these plans yet, but we do have a team in place. If you want to join and participate, and fundraise along with our team, if you don't have one already, if you go to Extra Life and when you sign up for this year's fundraiser, under the teams there is a Mighty Meep team. So if you do that, you can join our team. Anything you raise will go towards our goal, which we've set a $2,000 goal. Last year we did it locally again, and we had a $1,000 goal, which we hit, and we actually exceeded by a good amount. So I feel pretty confident that $2,000 will be pretty doable. So yeah, if you want to join that, even if you're not here in Fresno and be able to actually join us in spirit. I think it'll be fun. If you are here, we're going to be doing some stuff. Nothing confirmed yet, but we will be once again meeting at the Crazy Squirrel Game Store on the day of Extra Life, which is the I'm going to mess this up. I think it's the 25th this year. Yeah, 25th of October. So we're going to be down there doing the all-day thing, and I'm thinking we may try Risk Legacy Marathon is kind of what we've talked about. It's up in the air. I don't really know. So we'll see. That'll be really fun. I've been wanting to play Risk Legacy, and that'd be kind of a good venue and good place and time to do that, to get blast through it in one big chunk. So we'll see. If people have other suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I'm open to other ideas, but that was one that we actually thought about doing last year, and then that just never kind of fell through. So I think we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to take a swig of my really awful beer. One sec. Oh, God. How do people drink that? My dog looks very concerned for me right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Spunky. My dog's name is Spunky, by the way. So, that's pretty much it for updates that I had. I'm going to talk about some questions or answer some questions that people have sent our way. So I put out a call on where did it go? I put out a call on our website, or sorry, not our website, on our Facebook and Twitter pages for some questions, and so I've got a few responses here from people. So I'm just going to go ahead and answer some questions. Most of them are completely unrelated to what I just talked about, but sure. I thought it'd be fun to answer some questions. So let's see. Friend Alex over at Bottom Shelf Board Games wants to know which game. Let's see. Which game, under the radar game, at Gen Con, are you most excited about? Most under the radar game. It's kind of hard to tell because a lot of games I'm hearing different buzz from different places. Some some avenues or some venues, some websites have been giving a lot of praise to specific games, while others have really been hyping up other games. I don't know. So yeah, it's hard to tell. For me personally, I feel like one that maybe I haven't heard as much about that I'm kind of surprised. I thought I would hear a lot more about is Battle at Kimball's Cascade from Z-Man Games. That's the arcade style shoot 'em up, like space shooter that's kind of in the vein of Galaga and those types of arcade games. I was really hoping I'd hear more from Gen Con. It seemed like I was really excited about it, going into it. But I didn't really hear many people talk about it. I'm not sure if it had much of a presence. As far as I know, it's supposed to ship at Gen Con. It's actually supposed to come out, but maybe it didn't. So I've been looking around trying to get some answers and, trying to contact Z-Man, but I haven't heard anything back yet. So that's definitely one that for me, I want to know more about, and I want to hear some people's reactions to Kimball's Cascade. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to have more to talk about that very soon. Maybe even a copy for ourselves, possibly. Who knows? Let's see. Our friend Jeff, GameGuyThinks.com, asked about gateway games. So gateway games is one of those terms that is used for games that are designed to teach people or introduce board games to people that have never really played before. Obviously, when someone is brand new to tabletop gaming, you don't throw them into something like Agricola. It's just brutal and punishing, and they're likely not going to understand, or be able to wrap their heads around all the different concepts that are introduced in a game like that immediately. Some might. I'm not certainly saying that is impossible, but generally for people that are not inclined to board game, there's especially the a lot of moving parts to games and all those different systems like card drafting or cube pushing and blah 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 blah. So gateway games are meant to be like that. Exactly what they say they are, gateways. So for me, gateways, games that I really like to use, so games that I will occasionally bring to places, or when we have people over that I know are not really experienced gamers, that are maybe just have played a few games, they really like Cards Against Humanity. A lot of our friends are more into that, and that's their gaming experience. So I'll occasionally we'll pull out some other games when they come over to say, hey, you want to try this? Sushi Go has been a really great gateway game. It teaches people the card drafting mechanic that was really popular with Seven Wonders. I do not think Seven Wonders is a very good gateway game. I've heard many people recommend that as a gateway game. I think that is terrible. I love Seven Wonders. It's one of my absolute favorite games, but I feel like it is just a bit too on the complex side with the different systems in place, like the different trees and ways to score points and whatnot. It's just a bit too abstract, I think, for someone who's very new to the hobby. Sushi Go takes a lot of that and simplifies it into a big way. Makes it very simple to understand. There's only a couple of avenues for scoring, so that's one that I really like. For someone that's really into video games, I like Boss Monster. Even though I'm not personally huge on that game, it's not one of my favorites. I do find the value in using that to teach people games. I know a lot of people that have big video game histories will appreciate it. That's certainly something that appeals to me. The retro pixelated art on the cards and whatnot are pretty appealing. So it's a fun way to entice some retro video game players into trying this game. The art is very catching. What else? Yeah, those are the main ones. Oh, you know what? Rise of Augustus has been a really good gateway game. Me and my fiance have taken that with us to a couple of different places and have used that to teach people, that normally don't play games. Use that to teach them, games and introduce them to gaming, and it's gone over really well. Every group that we've brought that game to all really enjoyed it. The game has gotten great reception from all of our different groups of friends that aren't big gamers in the first place. So Rise of Augustus is probably my favorite gateway game that we own right now, that we will still use. We'll pull that out and use that to play with our non-gaming friends. So so Sushi Go and Rise of Augustus are kind of like the big ones that I like to use. MJ asks, Whatever happened to predictability? It's a good question. I'm not really sure what you're asking, but predictability. I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, MJ. He's probably going to give me a bunch of crap for that later. It's probably some reference to some movie or something that I'm just not getting because I'm exhausted from a long week of work. So if that's the case, screw you, MJ. I'm just kidding. Oh, God. Jesse asks, how do I get my question read on the air? Well, I think you just succeeded, sir. Good job. Don't really have anything else to add to that, but congratulations, you have done it. You get your question on the air by submitting it when I ask you to. Ta-da. Let's see. Our friend Jennifer, who works at our local game store here, asks, do you have a different favorite games for different groups of people? Kind of answered that already, a little bit. What kind of divisions are there, and how do you get those party game people to cross over to strategy and vice versa? Yeah, that's kind of similar to what I had just answered. Using Rise of Augustus as one, Boss Monster is another example of people that I know are big video gamers. Getting them to play something different. Different groups of people. Yeah, there's certainly people that I know that like to play a lot of board games that I knew if I pulled out Caverna, they would not be interested in it. And that's fine. That's not to say that one type of gaming is bad or wrong. But yeah, it's just there's different games for different people. I know a lot of people just aren't into like the Pathfinder adventure card game. I love it. We have a group of people, like Jen's part of that group. We play it pretty regularly and we're really big into that, but I know that's not a game that a lot of people enjoy or a lot of my friends also enjoy. So yeah, it's just finding out their tastes, and it can be kind of hard and frustrating when you bring a game that you're really excited about, and you bring it to some people to introduce it to them, and they just don't like it. It doesn't connect with them. It doesn't click with them, and then that can be a little discouraging. But you know what? That's fine. Like, that's gonna happen. That has certainly happened before. Like, I've done that. I've brought games to groups and just did not go over well, and I kind of felt bad. But you know what? Everyone's got different tastes, and you can't always figure out what everyone's tastes are going to be. But for me, like, even if I say in my situation, someone introduces a game to me that I don't really care for, I still think that's great. Like, I'm really happy that happened because I like to experience all different types of games. It helps me to kind of define my taste in games. So by playing more games that I don't like, I actually feel that it helps me kind of narrow down and, really understand, okay, what exactly do I like? If somebody asks me, what are your favorite, mechanics or, themes and blah, 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 like, I have a better idea and better understanding of what those are because I have played games that I not only like, but can point to and say, I don't really like that because, So, yeah, I guess my answer is Rise of Augustus. That's kind of my answer for everything right now. Patrick wants to know... Oh, damn it. Patrick wants to know, when are you going to run Atomic Robo for me? Oh, Patrick, I'm sorry. I've been really excited about the Atomic Robo RPG for a while. It came out like in May, I believe. Beginning of summer is when that came out, and I bought it up, I devoured it, read through that thing, and I really, really want to run something with that system. I mean, it's essentially Fate, but it's a little bit more, it's a little different, a little varied, but I really want to run a game, using Atomic Robo. I just haven't. I've just been really busy. So that's something I would like to do and maybe talk about more on the website. That's definitely a RPG that I would like to see more attention focused on. I think it's really great. I mean, it is Fate, but it's unique enough kind of from Fate that I feel like it stands on its own just fine. So, soon, Patrick. Soon. But yeah, that's... do I have any more questions? Let's see. No. That's it for questions. So, yeah, that's going to do it. Like I said, I didn't really have a ton to talk about, but I just really wanted to address some certain things, and just kind of give you all an idea of where the website is. I know I've gotten some great feedback on the website, and I have some great friends that have been really helping me out a lot with it, and I'm very appreciative of that. So I hope you keep on sticking around with it. It's not necessarily going away, or it's not going to be going anywhere. You're just not going to maybe see as much of it, at least for the foreseeable future right now. Maybe sometime next year when things calm down after I get married and all that stuff, maybe you'll see it. But even then, there's some job prospects on the horizon that may limit my website time even further. So you never know. But yeah, that's gonna do it though. I hope to have some fun stuff for you guys in the very near future. Maybe some role-playing related stuff. I've been wanting to do more, have more content on the website for RPGs, especially with new like D&D. So yeah, maybe soon. I've got plans, stuff's in the works, but I just can't make any promises exactly when. But just stick around, and hopefully in the very near future, I'll have some very fun stuff to share with everybody. But that's it for now. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. I know I'm going to basically do a whole lot of nothing. I'm really excited about that. I was originally going to go to down to Gateway. It's a convention down in LA that they have every Labor Day, but it didn't work out. Just too many things going on. My fiance has to work, and they're opening a store, and yeah, it's crazy. So I'm just gonna kind of hang out here. I'm gonna catch up on some games. I'm very close to finishing South Park: Stick of Truth, which I'm very much enjoying. Also hoping to dive back into Divinity: Original Sin, which I've played just a little bit of, but I had to put it down. So hopefully this weekend do some of that. But yeah, big plans. Anyway, have a good weekend, everybody. Adios.